because you are here in Brașov, which is a kind of heart of Transylvania, I will speak about effects of earthquakes, about the heritage of Transylvania in this area called the Siebenbürgen, the seven burgs, and the example of Brașov. I belong to the National Research Institute in Construction and Urban Planning, in Czech, the laboratory of earthquake engineering, but I belong also to the European Center of Building Rehabilitation, which is a specialized center of the agreement Europa major hazards. Please, next. So we are here in Transylvania, and not far from here, maybe 100 kilometers, there is an important earthquake focus called Vrancea. It's a deep focus, quite unusual, and this is causing a lot of problems in some half of Romania, in Moldova, in northeast, and Bulgaria in southeast. I spoke about this in some other editions of insurance conferences. The problem is that we are here also beyond the mountains, the Carpathian Mountains, and some general myth is that these mountains, Carpathian Mountains, play a role of some shielding. And this is possible to influence the insurance. According to some data that hastily I have found, Brașov is a little bit better in this respect, but probably with the compulsory insurance, something around 40%. I found on internet in the bus coming here, things like this. Of course, this could be okay for the general in comparison with some other places of Romania. But I am thinking that things like this are not granted forever. I have found, very surprisingly for me, on the site of Bloomberg, that the data are from last year, that in US, in California, so the most earthquake part of US, the coverage of earthquake insurance is, how do you believe, 12%. It was something 20 years ago, like 33 something %, and now get down to this. And this was last year when an earthquake in California just happened. Now the things are in two boats. One looks that the people are changing their mind and their awareness, no matter they are living in California. Another one is that you insurers ask a little bit too much for earthquake insurance, something below $700 per year. Of course, California is the richest state of US. It's a wonder that they are claiming or are not happy with some $700. I give something, maybe 3/4 of this for my car insurance for Casco. So I'm not a rich like a Californian. But the people are changing. Maybe they want to spend money for something else. So when you do with this IT tools and something like this to convince them, please do, because I want that California must be insured, well insured. Also, Romania must be well insured. But we are now in Brașov. Please, next slide. And if you look to this picture, which represents the center of Brașov around the 1960s, from left to right, you will see the Black Church. Probably you'll have some time to visit or already visit. In the center is very easy. Is the Council Tower and the museum. And over some distance, this is our nice hotel, Aro Hotel. Aro Hotel was built by the Romanian insurance company in 1939. And probably this was a message that insurance is something very important, that the national and local insurance should be covered for all the people. The things changed later on, and the things remain not like this. But anyway, during the communist regime, the people called this Aro hotels. That means the insurance company was a good signal. Next, please. So in general, the impact of historical earthquakes in this area of Transylvania, no matter some people believed that the Carpathian Mountains are a shield, were considerable, and they exist everywhere. For those who don't know, here there was a German colonist population, and the Germans in general, they are very careful to not age things that happen. So there are chronicles and a lot of things written about what happens after the earthquake, with a lot of things around, and they must be studied. But some of them are available even on internet pages here, and we have just to study them. Please, next. So this is from some seismological studies, which show, for instance, for earthquake of 1802, the biggest earthquake in our history, that here we arrived up to 9 degrees near Brașov. Next, please. There are, beside Vrancea, there are some other local earthquake sources which are considerable, and they are written in many books and also on internet. So they must just to be known and reminded to the local population and to the insurance, of course, because this has some relationship with the actuarial data. Next, please. And our problem is that this earthquake have a long return period. So because of this, in history, they are not happened quite each decade. The people are forgetting. Maybe they are forgetting and about the insurance, so we have to put things together to remind them that these earthquakes are here, and on some historical buildings here, the traces of these earthquakes are very well visible. Please. And of course, on the other hand, people have some ability to forget, and they forget many of the historical things because the earthquakes are not so often, and in some zoning maps used by engineers like me in the last 100 years, this area was considered almost not earthquake prone. Next, please. And only step by step after 1940 earthquake, these maps have been improved. But some people are looking backward and say they may believe that the truth was once 70 years ago, when Transylvania was not considered as an earthquake area, and not today. Maybe they could consider that this is an excess. Next, please. And the present zoning map used for seismic design code is like this, and here the earthquake acceleration for earthquake design is considerable. It's in Brașov 0.2 G, which is not a joke. Next, please. Of course, if we want to convince people that earthquakes are a harsh reality here, we have to give back in their memory some historical things which amazingly, they are under their age, but they don't remark them because they are concerned with the day-to-day life. Next, please. For instance, we have this Siebenbürger, the 7 big German cities or church cities, and they are very good for making tourism, but the people don't remark the traces of earthquakes in each of them because maybe the guys don't know to present them. But I took some examples from Brașov here. Next, please. And this is to remind you which are these 7 burgs. This is Kronstadt, German name, Brașov, Hermannstadt, Sibiu, Mühlbach, the place of mills, Sever, Mediaș, the city in the middle, then Schesburg, and Birthelm and Tartlau. Each one has a very nice citadel. Next, please. And there are a lot of books. I found by some chance a book published in 1940 in Sibiu, with not with the big citadels, with the small citadels. There are about 51 fortified churches in all this area of the Siebenburgen, and for each there are some data which prove what happens with them during the historical times because of earthquake. Next, please. And if you look to any touristic map, you will find all these small villages or small towns with a lot of German-type buildings and with a lot of cracks from earthquake. Next, please. And of course, the latest important earthquake was in 1977, and the general memory is that it was not quite nothing, but we have the data. There were a lot of buildings which collapsed and they were damaged, and we recorded them from some engineering statistic that we have in our institute. Next, please. And if we are going to convince some people with a minimum of data, the data about the buildings which are the flagship of the city, the Black Church, the St. Nicholas Quay, the tower of the city council, it's enough even with this. For instance, please. Next, please. Next. The tower of the city council was reduced in his height because of some earthquake in 1662. Next, please. The Black Church has only one tower because the next one was not built because of the earthquake in 1471. Next, please. Next, please. And there are a lot of earthquakes, next please, which are even on the mobile, you will find on internet, these earthquakes are listed, which destroyed the towers of the Burg Brasov. Next please. Next please, you will find them on internet. And just in the big market, you will go there. If you look to the right, this turret of the church was destroyed in 1940, and was rebuilt just in 1973. Next, please. In the meantime, it missed. Next, please. And it was built in 1973. It is the picture from 1 year ago. Next, please. And in our engineering studies, we identified some seismic parameters which explain this. Next, please. And now we have to understand much more how this evolution was done, because this German came from Europe where there is no earthquake and adapted here to the local environment, learning how to build and how to repair their buildings to resist earthquake. And now, if we look to all these issues and we learn from history, the life in insurance could be nice even in Transylvania. And thank you very much.